official visitors because, hey, we can't just talk about the 14 that were in town last weekend. We've also got to push forward, and we're going to talk about the guys that were in town, that are going to be in town this weekend. I think I've got 10 or 11 names pretty much confirmed that I think that will be there for Georgia on another official visit this weekend. Lots of names to get to, lots of very impressive names to get to. I think the one we'll start with is probably the marquee guy for a lot of reasons. He's the marquee guy because he's the 5-star. He's the highest rated guy that does plan to be there this weekend. He's coming in with his family. That would be Joenel Aguero, the 5-star out of Lynn, Massachusetts, nation's number 34 overall prospect. But one of the things Joenel has done is he has not only named a Final Four of Miami, Ohio State, Florida, and Georgia. Miami's the really big contender there. He told me this week that Jamil Adai, former Georgia defensive backs coach Jamil Adai, was really a big reason why he got in there with Miami. So that's a school to look at right there. But really, he's going to visit all those schools before he makes his decision on June the 23rd. So this is a big visit for Georgia. It'll be the last time that they get a chance to host Joenel Aguero. He's really got a timeline that's coming up very, very fast, and he's probably the biggest name to look at this weekend. Another name, just kind of going down the list, you've got Adepuju Adebawore out of Kansas City, Missouri. He's the number 97 overall prospect. Adepuju Adebawore, he's from Nigeria. Same thing as Chidera Uzodiribe. List keeps getting bigger, man. Troy Bowles, he was just visited Oklahoma this past weekend, the number 44 overall prospect in this class. Adebawore was the number 97 overall prospect in this class. Tyler Williams, really impressive story there out of Lakeland, Florida, number 147 overall prospect in the country. Jamal Jarrett has seen his rankings go up a little bit. He's now the number 183 overall prospect in the country. Stephen Green out of Rome, Georgia, number 224 overall. He's a defensive lineman. Kelton Smith is an offensive lineman out of Columbus, Georgia, number 252 overall. 4-star linebacker Grayson Pup Howard out of Jacksonville, Florida, number 253 overall. Really speed demon wide receiver Anthony Evans out of Converse, Texas. Can you believe that? There's a town in Texas called Converse, Texas. He plays for Judson High School, number 346 overall. He's a guy that also picked up his 4th star recently. And then you've got 3-star offensive tackle Shamad Umarov out of Denmark High School. That's in Alpharetta, Georgia. Big, huge man. He had an official visit to Michigan State this past weekend. And also one of the bigger commitments for Georgia in this class, a guy whose rankings are also going way up. That's Raquez McElderry. He committed to Georgia last November over lots of schools, Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee. He just took an official visit to Auburn this past weekend. Georgia will be able to reinforce that commitment, I believe, this weekend by showing him a lot of good things on his official visit this weekend. So there you have it. There is another kind of huge, big, incredible list right there. One other thing I want to kind of bring up to you right now is there is, I guess I would call it, and I hope you guys have noticed this, there's an NCAA rule that you can only, a school like Georgia that offers national letters of intent, a school like Georgia can only host 56 official visitors every cycle. I believe that goes from August 1st to July 31st for that calendar year for a class. And Georgia, well, let's put this all together here. 11 this week. And then they have, well, first of all, let's take a look at this. I'm going to match the slide here. So Georgia currently this week has 6 guys on defense, 5 guys on offense that are on their official visits. 3 guys are in state. And then you've got another 8 guys out of state. Last week, there were 7 guys on offense, 6 on defense. Of course, everybody remembers Justice and Jalen Hale and Arch Manning, of course, from last weekend. And then there were 5 guys in state and another 8 guys out of state. So there's a trend, a lot of guys coming in out of state. Georgia is growing itself globally, growing itself nationally as a program, but that is something we've seen for several years now. What we haven't seen with Georgia football recruiting, and that's probably what the tease on tonight's show is going to point to directly here, is Georgia, like I said before, they're only allowed 56 official visits in any one cycle for any one class. They can host 56 recruits on their official visits. Now let's quickly do the math. Georgia has 13 last week, and they've got another 11 this week. That's 24. They've got another 14 scheduled already for the next 2 weeks of June. That's already 38 official visits that they're going to knock out in the month of June. That's only going to leave them with about 28 more for the rest of the season, for the entire rest of the calendar year. So what we're noticing here is, number one, the official visits way up, coming in really fast. Georgia's trying to handle all its business, get all of its chores done, so to speak, in the month of June before they're trying to defend their championship or to win another championship, to hunt down another championship this fall. Georgia is going about it with its recruiting walk a lot quicker than past years. That for them to already be through almost 40 of their 56 official visits, like 34, 35 of their 56 official visits through the month of June. And remember, they had 3 in May as well when they had Deshaun Womack and Jaden Wayne and Sydir Mitchell come in through as well. They're really trying to wrap this class up. I think this is a class. I don't think I'm going to sound very speculative or try to be a big limb breaker here by saying that I would expect to see 75% of this class committed by the time the first ball game happens in Oregon. Probably could even be a lot higher than that. That's just the way Georgia is going about recruiting these young men. I wrote about this earlier this week. They're recruiting young men that like to play football and want to play football more than they want to get recruited to play football. I thought that's very interesting, the way this trend is forming right now for the 2023 recruiting class at Georgia. Now, certainly what does that mean? I know all you half-empty folks out there that follow recruiting will think, well, Jeff, DawgNation, friends, that just means that Georgia's going to have to hold serve and maintain their commitments for much longer as the leader in the clubhouse, and everybody's going to be trying to flip all their guys. Well, I bet Kirby and company are probably just kind of like this. They're probably like, come at me, dog, because they feel like they're recruiting from a position of strength, and it's not a feint, or it's not a false front there. I do think that Georgia is recruiting from a position of a lot of strength. A lot of guys want to join the Bulldog class of 2023. A lot of guys that want to join the Bulldog class more than anything else they could possibly do. So, yep, that's what you're looking at right there. That's what's going on right there with Georgia football recruiting. That's what I noticed is something different. We've looked a little bit about last week's official visitors. We kind of recapped that a little bit. Keep those questions coming. I'll make sure to get to YouTube and also answer your questions as well. Also, we've got a good look, a good preview at all the official visitors that will be in town this weekend, and there'll be a story on DawgNation.com tomorrow, kind of breaking down the Joenel Aguero official visit. I think he's crucial to this class as Georgia tries to end up with one of those 5-star safeties. Actually, Georgia's shooting to sign both Joenel Aguero and Caleb Downs as 5-star safeties in the class of 2023. That would be the number 1 and the number 2 safety in the country, I believe. Aguero may be number 3 in some polls, but that's what you're looking at right there.